building choppers.
Welcome back to episode 2 of Two Guys Building Choppers. Why is it so hard to say?
Two bike build.
There we go. Two Yamaha XS650s at the same time. Episode 1, you saw where Steve and I went out and picked up our bike. We actually have two. Mine's an 83. 83 is the last year that you can actually do the hardtail kit on. And Steve's here is a 77. Very similar, small differences such as the electronics and things like that. Today what we're going to be doing is cutting them and fitting our hardtails. We picked up our hardtails from TC Brothers for an awesome price of $2.19 each plus shipping. Steve's going to show them to you right now. And they are 3-inch over. And I just found out today that you actually can't use your existing chain. You can reuse your existing wheel and some of the other components. What were they, Steve?
I think it's just the back wheel.
All right, just the back wheel. But we're going to have to get different chains. So we spent a lot of time saving our chain when we started dismantling, and that ended up being a big waste of time. Now, what you want to do is you want to go ahead and remove everything on your bike. Steve has already got them removed and already got some of our cuts, and I'll explain that in just a second. But you want to get everything removed but the motor. As you can see, Steve has done his right. We're going to finish up a couple things left on mine with the brake and the kickstart. But you really just want the motor remaining. Whether you have your handlebars in the front and all that, that's all good, but it doesn't matter. Some guys leave the front tires on, some guys don't. But according to TC Brothers, we're going to be cutting, we're going to be pulling out the directions in a second, but you're going to be leaving this weld tab here. Some of the kits have this tab coming off, some of the kits have this tab remaining. So I'll do a close-up video of this in a second, but this tab is going to remain. So what you want to do is just get some of the bigger chunks cut out. When you remove everything, you remove the back fender, the wheel, the battery tray, all the electronics, the swing arm, get everything out of the way, and then cut out the bulky items before you get to your final cuts, because you don't want all this metal like leaning over, and it could also pinch the wheel, which could be dangerous, so you don't want to use that. And you also want to make sure you have good wheels when cutting this. You want something smooth, clean. You don't want something to break easily, so I would not be buying any wheels from Home Depot or definitely Harbor Freight. As you can see, Steve has already dismantled everything, got our cuts done where the swing arm and the back seat has already been cut off, so now we're going to get into the finer cuts, which we're going to do with you guys in just a second. Steve asked me, do the motors need to come out? When you're cutting them and you're doing the pre-fitment, you have to leave the motor in so you don't lose any of the frame could torque and stuff like that. So you leave the motor in. You have it loose, but you leave the motor in. Once you get your cuts done properly, you tack weld your new hardtail. After you tack weld the hardtail, then you remove the motor so you can do all the clean welds underneath and on the sides. So we're going to be doing that and showing you. Today we're going to be doing all the cutting and pre-fitment and maybe some of the tacking. We'll also go over with you the instructions and where we're going to be doing those cuts in a close-up. So hang tight, we'll get started. All right, now after going over the directions with Steve, making sure we understood it first before we got the video back on, according to TC Brothers directions, the first thing you're going to do is they do want you to cut this back as far as you can, which we knew that already. And then you need to cut this off, leaving this tab, like I said. Now you want to cut this as close as you can get it, and then you're going to grind it smooth. So you're going to use a cutting wheel and then a grinding wheel. The second thing you're going to do is cut these down as close as you can. So Steve and I are actually going to probably take a little bit more off of these, but you want to cut this and this side down as close as you can get it, and then grind it down smooth. This is just going to be an attractive part of your frame once it's done. Then you're going to cut down this as close as you can. And the reason being is this rod that came with the kit is going to be sitting on top of that. And this rod, when you cut this down, cut this back as close as you can get it, it's going to slide up inside here. And Steve's going to show us exactly where that goes. So that way, once it slides up in there, it'll sit on there and get tacked on like this here. And then lastly, Steve, where is the exhaust? Your frame is clean. I'm going to clean mine off. Show me where the exhaust bracket is.
So the stock exhaust bracket's right here.
Okay. And tell us what we need to do.
And we need to come 3/4 inches back from that.
Okay. We're going to cut, Steve and I are going to cut a full inch back and then fine tune it once we get everything mocked up. Like we said earlier, it's going to be better to take off too little than too much. So we're going to go ahead and get everything ready now. This is the grinder we're going to be using and the wheel that we're going to be using. And if you've never used one of these wheels, just a guide, once you get to here, if you're not a professional, you want to stop because that's when the blade gets weaker.
Also normally has a guide on it.
Hold on, tell us. What'd you say?
Also, it normally has a guide shield on it.
Our bartender has a lot of information. We found that out today. She's a lot smarter than we thought she was. Okay, so if yours has a guide, follow that. I didn't see one on there, but also when you're cutting, you want to make sure.
There's supposed to be a hand guide.
Oh, all right. Well, you heard what they said. And then when you're cutting, make sure you're cutting straight or at a clean angle. You don't want the wheel wobbling around or getting stuck because obviously that can get dangerous. We're going to go ahead and get everything ready for setup. We're going to go from there. I'm ready.
Ready to cut?
It's good. Let's do this. Let's make sure she plug it in. Nice. You just want to cut those two top bars back some for me? Yeah, so that way we don't have much weight. You can just cut them right before that. We're just taking some of it off.
Right here?
Let me see. No, if you don't mind, just chunk that off so it's just out of our way when we take it off. Woo. Awesome. All right, part 2. Tire cuts. Oh, Steve, you plug that in for me, bud? I'll probably go just do it and then get.
Tight it down.
Yeah. It's actually getting dark to see at this.
I know.
Let me see your sunglasses.
Uh,
They're on the picnic table.
oh.
Thanks, Wes. Oh, you're much better. that's a big son of a bitch. That should come down. Go up and over. This one's a little harder, that's for sure. Yeah, I started cutting high, and it was too close to the metal.
I actually thought it was a strawberry
You know what I mean?
one.
Yeah.
So I didn't like that. I don't know if we're going to cut that off more, clean it, or have Leon fill that, or
Yeah.
cut that off,
Probably just leave it until.
because we have the rod going all the way up. But better safe than sorry. I started getting uncomfortable with that one, so I stopped. That's why I did that.
I'd say leave it and let Leon.
Sorry I
fill it.
practiced on your bike.
That's fine.
Lesson learned.
That's
Go
fine.
low.
That's fine. Leon can fill it.
Yeah, yeah. I just let you know why. I don't know how much you still holding it, to be honest with you. I'm going to move over here now. And we'll see. We'll pull it down. All right, before Steve starts polishing, I'll show you. We got as close as we could here, and now he's going to go ahead and start grinding it down smooth with a different wheel. And we did the same here, and we left a little bit here just until we get everything mocked up and do our exact cut. So we're going to go ahead and start polishing this down and see how it looks. Go for it, Steve. in the process of smoothing out those cuts now. We got our bartender cooking for us now. All right, we've got everything polished. Just to give you guys an idea, this is the wheel that we use to polish the metal down, and it actually works really good. Didn't take long at all. We noticed that the frame was just a little bit wider than the hardtail, so Steve just went ahead and used a ratchet strap to squeeze it a little bit, and we're gonna go ahead and set his now and show you how they look. All right, and following our cut specs, you can see how good all that came out too. Man, that came out perfect. That 3/4 of an inch is perfect. All right, that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you cut your Yamaha XS650 to prepare it for its hardtail. We're gonna weld them up on Wednesday, so we're gonna do episode 3 then. This is it for tonight, because we're done. We are done. But 2 dudes building choppers, baby. Yes, sir. Look at that. Look at that. Sorry, sun went down. We've been out here a while. All right. We want to thank our bartender. Thank you, Shannon.
You're
Please be
welcome.
sure to tip your bartender.
Yeah. All right. All right, guys. See you next week. We also have some extra parts if anybody would be interested in purchasing them. That's a lot you cut off.
You can put it together and make a mini bike
What'd you say?
from a moped I was building.
All right, that's it. See you guys Wednesday.